Hello, welcome to the Department of Conservation and Recreation's demonstration of the WebGrants Grant Management Portal. Today we'll be walking through how to register and apply for funding opportunities within WebGrants. My name is Jake Shaw and I'm the Grants Manager for the Division of Floodplain Management. My email is jake.shaw@dcr.virginia.gov. And also my two teammates, Kimberly Gaines and Scott Peterson, who are grant support specialists whose emails can be found listed here. WebGrants is DCR's grant management software through which applicants will apply for grants associated with the Community Flood Preparedness Fund, CFPF, and the Resilient Virginia Revolving Fund, RVRF, among other Virginia DCR funding opportunities. Utilizing WebGrants is to streamline the application process in an electronic format. In the past rounds of the Community Flood Preparedness Fund, applications have been submitted through both the U.S. Postal Service and email, along with quarterly reports and reimbursement requests. And now the following processes will be completed electronically: both grant and loan applications, the application review process, the award process, and quarterly reporting and reimbursement request submission in the post-award phase. For CFPF Round 4, applicants can apply for the following CFPF grants through the WebGrants portal: capacity building and planning grants, study grants, and project grants. For the Resilient Virginia Revolving Fund, applicants can apply for the following grants through the WebGrants portal: local match for federal grant programs, hazard mitigation of buildings, local flood resilience program capacity building, and local program capitalization. We are also in the process of migrating the data for rounds 1, 2, 3, and 3 supplemental of the CFPF program. We aim to move these grants to WebGrants by the end of the calendar year. We have additional training that will be provided for grantees of all CFPF rounds and the RVRF. And this will include training on how to submit quarterly reporting and reimbursement requests, along with other post-award activities. This timeframe will be January or February of 2024, and you can check our training calendar for updates. So I will walk through the registration process for two types of users: new users and returning users. We'll begin with new users. So first, access the online portal through this link, the WebGrants Management Portal. First, select the yellow "Click here to register" button found on the screenshot to the right. Once you've selected that option, you'll be taken to the registration screen where you'll enter your personal contact information. Note that the fields that are in red with an asterisk are required, while those that are in black are optional. For program area of interest, select the VCFPF Virginia Community Flood Preparedness Fund or RVRF Resilient Virginia Revolving Fund. Once you have filled out the required fields, check the CAPTCHA box and select Save Registration Information. Next is the organization information. It's the same process as the previous screen. Fill in the highlighted red and asterisk fields and click the Save Registration Information in the lower right-hand corner. Once you've completed both screens, a confirmation of registration will pop up after you save the information. You can see what that notification looks like above. An email will be sent with a similar message to that shown below from vadcr@webgrantsmail.com, confirming your registration and providing you with your login credentials. Once the grants management team has reviewed the registration information, a user ID and a temporary password will be emailed in two separate emails. This is what the email for the user ID looks like. Here is the email for the temporary password. Once you have your temporary password, you can log in and set your permanent password. Once you have that, you can return to the main WebGrants login screen and enter your user ID and password to use the portal's resources. So now we'll go over returning users. Some applicants may already have accounts created with the WebGrants portal. This can be a result of data migration conducted for CFPF's Round 1, 2, and 3 supplemental, and also applicants who have applied for other funding opportunities using WebGrants. If this is the case, you'll have received an email with instructions on how to retrieve your login credentials. Login credentials are retrieved by using the Forgot User ID and Forgot Password buttons along with your email. These emails have already been sent out, so if you have not received one at this point, it means you are not registered in WebGrants and need to sign up as a new user. When applicants sign into the WebGrants portal, they will view the dashboard. This screen provides relevant deadlines, award notifications, and correspondence for any active applications or awards that have been started or submitted in the portal. The two program areas for CFPF and RVRF grant applications are labeled as follows: VCFPF, Virginia Community Flood Preparedness Fund, and RVRF, Resilient Virginia Revolving Fund. You can see in the screenshot below where the program area is highlighted. The grant manual for each grant program is linked to each funding opportunity in the portal. Next, you can navigate to funding opportunities by selecting the funding opportunity tab on the left side of the screen. This should appear directly beneath the dashboard, as shown in the screenshot to the left. Once you have selected a funding opportunity, you'll be taken to a page of the project description, the grant manual, and a link to DCR's website. When you are ready to begin your application, select the Start New Application button at the top right-hand side of the screen. And now I will switch over to the WebGrants portal to walk you through a test application live. So here we have the login screen as I showed in the screenshots in the prior presentation. I will enter my test account credentials so I can show you how to walk through an application. Here's the dashboard we reviewed. We have approaching deadlines, recent negotiations, correspondence, potential site visits, and organizational compliance information. These fields may or may not be relevant to your program area that you apply to. The primary deadline to worry about now is approaching deadlines for your application submission, which will populate here when you start an application. So now we will navigate to the Funding Opportunities tab. And here we have a list of all of our posted funding opportunities. Those that are posted are those with the green posted status found in this column. For the purposes of this demonstration, we will walk through a CFPF project grant. Here is the description landing page for the program. First, we begin with instructions on how to name your application and some relevant information, along with the approaching deadlines for the application itself. Below here, we have the relevant language for project grants from the grant manual itself, including a basic description, the total amount of funds available, grant terms, minimums and maximums, some definitions relevant to the project. And at the very bottom of the page, we will see the grant manual along with the DCR website linked here. At the top of the screen, you'll notice a variety of application titles listed. These are my test applications that I've submitted as we develop the program. For you, as the applicant, this will only show applications that you've either started or submitted for this specific funding opportunity. You'll notice the Asked a Question button at the top. This presents you the opportunity to post a public question on the funding opportunity that can be answered by a DCR staff member. These questions are good for sort of frequently asked question public forum formats that are general to the system or the funding opportunity itself. More specific questions related to your specific application or project are better directed direct to our email at cfpf@dcr.virginia.com. So I will go ahead and start a new application. First, we arrive at the landing page for the opportunity where we have to enter our application title, our primary contact, our organization, and additional contacts. So I will begin by entering a test application title, and remember to use your community ID number followed by the Virginia 51 indicator, and then your specific community ID number, the link to which can be found on the description page of the funding opportunity. Then your locality name, and then CFPF. Then we choose our primary contact. In this case, it is my testing account. And we hit Save Form Information. Once you've hit Saved, we'll see some more information is populated, and now we have the option to choose our organization. Since our test account is associated with DCR, we only have the option to choose the grantee organization. However, you will have the option to choose any organizations that your profile has been associated with when you registered. We hit Save Form once more, and we have the option to add additional contacts. This will allow you to add contacts that are associated with the organization that your profile is associated with, but for this case, I will not add any. We hit Save one more final time, and we are taken to the application overview page. You will notice here the red banner that says our application components are not complete and therefore we cannot submit the application. We will be able to submit once we have a green check mark listed under complete of each of these forms. That first screen where we entered our organization name and contact information, that gave us the check mark on the general information tab. So now we can work through each form until we have check marks in all the categories. So we'll start off with CFPF Applicant Information. Here's where you'll enter your information relevant to your organization and the individual submitting the project. So we have the name of local government, your CID number, which is directly linked here, the Community Status Book Report from FEMA, the contact information for our authorized official, address, phone number, email. Then we have the option to list a contact person that is separate from the authorized individual. If this is the case, you select yes, and a second contact information window appears. We'll select no. Then you enter a basic project description, and then answer some geographic information relevant to your project. Once we have entered all the required information, we select Save Form either at the top right or bottom right of the screen. Now we can review the information. And if we wish to make any edits, we can always hit Edit Form, but if we're satisfied with our work, we can hit Mark as Complete. Once we've selected Mark as Complete, this now gives us the green check mark next to Applicant Information, and we can move on to the next screen. Next is our eligibility section, and here we have the directions to the correct and relevant area of the grant manual to find further details on eligibility. These are the questions that are asked to each CFPF grant program to make sure that your project is eligible for consideration. Save form, review, and then mark as complete. Now we have a new green check mark. Now we'll move on to the scoring criteria. Again, we have instructions on where to find the more relevant details in the appendix of the grant manual, but these are the scoring criteria that will be used to review your project in reference to others. First, you select your project category. You can select multiple by using Control-click. Then we can go through and answer the questions listed here. At the bottom, there's an option to add optional comments if you care to clarify any of your answers. So again, we navigate to the top, save form. We can review our answers. So we're satisfied, we hit mark as complete. Another check mark. And now we can move on to scope of work. So here you have two attachment boxes. First is for the scope of work. This is for the general scope of work that is required for each type of CFPF project category. You will see in the grant manual that all CFPF project categories have a required general scope of work. This is where you submit it. So you can enter a file here. And this can be any file form, preferably a PDF or a Word document. You can add comments. And then here's a section on the budget narrative. So you will see later on in the demonstration that there's a very robust tool for entering line item costs for your budget. But here's an opportunity for you to add that sort of text-based narrative component of your budget. that includes justifications and descriptions of costs and things of that nature. So the more text-based narrative aspect of your budget. So again, we enter a document and we hit Save Form. And review our submissions and then mark as complete. We have a new green check mark. Next, we'll move on to the scope of work supporting information for projects. Now, this screen is the information specific to each project category in the scope of work. So each project category under the CFPF funding opportunity has different questions for the supporting information that are relevant to each category. So we go through and answer. It can be a variety of files to upload, text boxes to describe, numbers to enter. They come in a variety of modes to answer. Here's a lot of this one in specific has many application attachments to upload. Once we've entered all the information, we hit save. We review our responses. And then mark as complete. Almost there. Now we can move on to the budget. And here's the tool I was referring to earlier that actually allows you to enter line item costs. So first you select your grant matching requirement. So this will be your specific project category, whether it be nature-based solutions, hybrid solutions, all other projects, or the same categories corresponding to low-income areas. For the sake of this project, I will choose a 50-50 match. And then we enter the total project amount, and this is including your match amount, not just that coming from the fund. So I'll enter $100,000 for the sake of simplicity. And once we've entered our total, we hit Save Form. And now some more information is populated. It now has told us that our required match amount is $50,000, which made sense as it is 50% of our $100,000 total cost. And here we have calculations for our match percentage and the total amount requested from the fund and the total match amount. Right now, these are all zero as we have not entered any line item informations. We continue to scroll down and we can see that we have the different eligible categories, such as personnel, fringe benefits, travel, equipment, supplies, construction, contracts, maintenance costs for projects, pre-award and startup costs, which are defined specifically in the grant manual, and other direct costs. So for the sake of demonstration, we'll stick with personnel. We'll add a row, and we can say salary 1. We're requesting $25,000 from the fund and $25,000 from match. Keep in mind that your match amount and request amount do not need to be one-to-one. You could, in theory, request $50,000 in salary from the fund and then provide $50,000 in match in travel or contracts or things of that nature. So we save the row. And now we see that we have requested $25,000 from the fund and are going to provide $25,000 in match for a total of $50,000, and our match percentage is accurate. However, our total project amount is not accurate as it should be $100,000. So I'll enter another item for salary. Salary 2. And again, we'll request $25,000 and provide a match of $25,000. Save the row. And now we are looking much better. So our total project amount is $100,000 and our required match is $50,000 due to the 50%. Our match percentage calculation is coming out to 50%. Our total request from the fund is 50% and our total match amount is $50,000. for a total of $100,000. So as you can see in the red text here, before submitting your application, be sure that you meet the match requirements for your project type. So that is a matter of making sure that this calculated percentage matches the amount listed here when you select your grant matching requirement. Once we're satisfied, you can mark as complete. With another check mark. The next form is specific to project grants. This is an optional budget page for the long and short-term loan budget projects. So the only required item here is to choose whether or not you're applying for a long-term loan, a short-term loan, or not applying for a loan. For the sake of demonstration, we'll not apply for a loan. So we enter not applying for loan, and then $0. Save the form. And now the line items still populate, but since we are not requesting a loan, we do not complete any of them. If you are selecting a short-term or a long-term loan, you'll enter the amount of the loan you're requesting and then go through the same process as the prior budget screen. But now we just mark as complete. We got our green check mark. The next screen is general supporting documentation. These are supporting documents that can be provided for any project category. They are listed here, but they include historic flood damage data and/or images, a link to or a copy of the current floodplain ordinance, social vulnerability index scores for project areas, benefit cost analysis and maintenance plans, and then also the optional letter of support area if you're not a local town, city, or county, but a private entity that wishes to apply with approval from the letter of support. So we'll enter a test document and maintenance plan just to demonstrate. Do your description and save file. Now we see some information is populated, such as the name that we've given in the description of the file, and we can mark as complete. Okay, only one more screen. This page is to submit the resilience plan, and this is only relevant to project grants. But here we have a description of the elements of the resilience plan along with more information that is found in the grant manual. We can add a new attachment. And once again, add our test document and description. Now we've marked as complete. And you can see that we have all of our green check marks, and that red banner has been replaced with this green banner stating that the application is in compliance and ready for submission. Of course, you can still edit items if you care to. Go to the eligibility and scoring criteria section. We can still edit form, change our answers. But once we're satisfied, we just hit save form again. Turn to the main page, and we are good to go. So now you will see that there's a submit application button that's appeared. We select that, and we get a final warning window that after we submit, we will not be able to edit this document. But we are good to go, so we'll hit submit. And now we're taken to our submitted applications tab, which is found immediately beneath the funding opportunities. Here you will see the many test applications that I have submitted as I've developed the platform, but for you, it'll only show those applications that you've started or submitted associated with your individual profile. And that is it for the training on the WebGrants portal. I hope it has been informative. We will also be offering office hours that are found on our training calendar to answer any questions due to the application process. Thank you for watching.